Hi, I'm Lisa Ratzlaff. Have you found an ancestor from another country or maybe who speaks another language? Are you just a little hesitant to dive into that research? Well, you've come to the right place. We're going to talk about some fantastic resources that are available to you that will help you understand the records, find the records, translate the records, and find your ancestors. Let's get started in international research. Before we jump in, there are just a couple things we need to talk about. First of all, I'm going to show you a lot of different options. Simply use the options that work best for you. I will also be using countries for different examples. That doesn't mean that that example works only for that country. Feel free to use that for the country that you are researching. Now, let's talk about where we're going to start. You know, if we were going on a family history trip, the first thing we'd want to do is just go to the airport and jump on an airplane. But you and I both know it's not that simple. There's a lot of legwork that we need to do here in our home country before we leave. We need to figure out what airport we're going to fly into. Maybe make some hotel reservations. We've got to buy that plane ticket. We might even need a passport. That's exactly the same with international research. There are a lot of things that we need to do before we even leave the country that we're living in. So let's take a look at what those things are. There's some important information you need to find before you start researching in the other country. If you can find an exact birth date, that's going to be very, very useful. The closer you can get to the exact birth date is very helpful. And try to narrow down that birthplace as tight as you can get it. That will be so helpful. If your ancestor happened to have married before immigrating, then any marriage information would be very helpful. And an immigration date to the arrival country. That way, if you find records for someone with the same name that occurred after that immigration date, you're probably looking at a different person with that same name. What kinds of records do we need to look at to help us find this great information? Well, every record we can find our ancestor in. All of them will add clues that will help us in our international research. What are some great places to go to find information on researching in that country? Well, RootsTech, of course. There are a lot of classes, tons of classes this year, and I'm sure there's at least one on the country that you're looking into. The FamilySearch Research Wiki is a fantastic guide. This is where you want to go. This is your new best friend. Here we are at the FamilySearch Research Wiki. All we're going to do here is search on the country that we're interested in. For this example, I've chosen Germany. Type in Germany, and here we are on the German genealogy homepage. There's a ton of information here. Getting started section, all kinds of great information. But let's go ahead and look at what they have under online records. Notice every single country has this beautiful blue button that shows us online records. The great thing about this is that they put the vital, either church or vital records right at the top. So you can find those birth, marriage, death, or christening, marriage, burial records right off the bat. Very easy to find. This list is much longer than what we're seeing right here on the page. Tons of information. Great. Okay, so using this, we can go ahead and find some records. Let's find information about the records that are available in the country we're interested in. What types of records are there? What kinds of information can we find out about those different record types? And are they available? When were the records kept? Are they available online, or are they on a repository? So here we are back in the wiki, and notice in our right-hand column there is information about record types. Let's go ahead and check maybe church records. Let's see what that will give us. Whoa, look at this, a huge table of contents, tons of information. Let's scroll down just a little bit and we see that we've got an overview, we've got history, basically everything that we need to know about church records in Germany is covered here. Fantastic. Let's say that you have used this information so far, you understood the records, you found some great records, and then you realize they're in a different language that you maybe don't read. Well, we've got word lists that will be a huge help to you, and handwriting helps. Let's look at each of those. So here we are back on the wiki. And notice under reading the records, we have something called word lists. Let's take a look at what that is. Look at this. Right at the top, we have a table with the most common genealogical words that we need to know. Words like father, mother, birth, those types of words. They're right at the top. Beneath this, there's an alphabetical list of all kinds of German words that you might find in a German document. Fantastic. Now let's go ahead and look for some handwriting helps. Under German background, we've got handwriting. Let's take a look at that. On this German handwriting helps page, we find a table with a sample German script. This will help us to decipher those words, understand the different letters, and actually be able to figure out what the record is saying. Now, one thing that is really helpful is to extract the key information from the document. Things like people's names, the various dates, maybe locations where things happened, relationships. Now, this I'm proud of. This is the first Polish record I ever found. I was so excited. And then I realized I couldn't read it at all. And I really, I'll confess, I wanted to stand on the chair and just shout at the top of my lungs, "Does anybody here read Polish?" Okay, I was in a library. I didn't. I later did find someone who does read Polish, and she helped me to understand how to extract this key information. You can see her highlights and then the translation that she did for me. This was a great help. And she said, "Now you can do this." And I said, "Well, no." And she said, "Yeah, you can. You can do this." So let's practice. We're going to look at a record and we're going to extract key information together. I have a little word list. What I would like you to do is, once the word appears, go ahead and pause the video. That will give you enough time to figure out what the word is and find it on the list. All right, are you ready? Let's go. Okay, here we have a record. It is from Poland. It does happen to be in Latin. Let's take a look. Now the first one we're going to do is, I'm just going to tell you if this is a date. What do you think that date is? Just give it a shot. Yep, you are absolutely right. It is the 23rd of April, 1810. Good job. See, so far so good. All right, let's look at the next word. I-N-F, not sure. There you go. You're right, it's child. This next one, look at the first few letters and see what you think. Absolutely, it's christening. Good job, woohoo! Okay, let's see, this looks like N-O-M-I-N-I-S. Right, given names. Look at you, you're doing great. I'll go ahead and give you the names. This is in English, Frederick Francis. What do we have next? N-A-T-U. Right, has to do with birth. And here's a date I'm sure you can figure out. Very good, well done. I'll give you these names. This is Nicholas Chopin and Justina, I don't know how to pronounce that name. Now, the colon after the word means that that word has been abbreviated. So look for a word that starts with these letters, C-O-N-J. You're right, that's marriage. So that would look like Nikolai and Justina were legally married. Okay, this next word, P-A-T-R-I something. That's right, godparents, and I'll give you those godparents. Whoa! Now think about that. I would bet that when you looked at that record, you maybe kind of went, ugh, or or whatever, I don't know. But do you know what you just did? You just translated a Latin record, and I bet you don't even speak Latin. Whoa, look at you. High five. Woo! You did great. I'm excited for you. You really can do this. Now let's say that you're doing really well, but you could use a little help. Wouldn't you love it if your best friend knew how to research in all times and in all places? Who, well, yeah, they were native, maybe even lived in the country, but definitely spoke the language. They could answer all your questions. They could help you with some translation. They could give you some guidance, what records to research next, what to look for. And because they're your best friend, they wouldn't charge you, right? This would be free. Wouldn't you love to have a friend like that? Well, you've got a friend like that. Let me introduce you to your new best friend. Your new best friend is found in the FamilySearch communities and the FamilySearch Facebook groups. These guys are awesome. Let's go ahead and look at the communities first. We're back in Wiki, and we're on that first page for Germany genealogy. Notice the great purple button. It's another one of my favorite buttons. Ask the community. Let's go ahead and look at that. Whoa! Okay, the first thing I want you to do is join that group. Sign up. Then notice at the bottom you can see that someone's posted a question. I didn't give you enough, but they're getting an answer there. Well, these are where those experts are. They are often natives, they often live in this country, and they know how to research this locale. Fantastic. Okay, let's now look at the Facebook groups. To find them, I'm back on the wiki, I'm on that home page, and I'm just going to type in Facebook. There we go, let's do a search. And here we are. Let's look at Poland. Let's see what kind of Facebook group we have for Poland. I've hit the P, and here we are. Here's Poland. And we have this Facebook group. Let's go ahead and go there. Here we are. Facebook. Yes, the Central Europe Genealogy Research Community by FamilySearch. Woohoo! Yep, you want to join this group. They may ask you a few questions to make sure you're a real human being, but you join the group, and guess what? You can get all the help you'd like. Whether you're on community or Facebook, you can post questions, upload images for translation. You can ask for help with research. and you will get answers. Wow, get help with translations and get that guidance you're looking for. Isn't that fantastic? I love the community and the Facebook groups. These are where those experts are. Did I happen to mention this is free? I think I forgot to tell you that. This is all free. Isn't that fantastic? I love these groups. Let me show you an example. I don't really look Japanese, of course, but my husband happens to be half Japanese. And we were doing some family history. We got stuck on a town name. We could not translate it. I mean, can do a little translation. My husband is way better than I am. Our son is better than I am. None of us could figure out this town name. I thought, well, let's go ahead and ask. So I happened to have posted this on the Facebook group. I said, hey, these 3 kanji, we can't figure out what is the name of this place. And look what we got. Chikako, my new very best friend, answered. She said, that is Sunagomatamura. But let me tell you, that town really doesn't exist anymore. 2 little teeny towns got merged, and now they're called Higashidorimura. And here is the webpage for that town. And here's the address and the phone number and the fax number, so you can order more records from the repository there. Are you kidding me? I was thrilled. I only asked for translation help. She went the extra 2 or 3 miles and just was so helpful. Love Chikako. She was fantastic. And that's the kind of help you can get in these groups. And did I tell you, this is free? This is my favorite part. No, my favorite part is that they're experts and they know what they're doing. And I like that it's free. Okay, let's say that you would like to try a little online translation. My favorites are Google Translate and the Google Translate app. Let's look at Google Translate. It's great. You can go ahead and decide what language you have. We're going from Czech to English here. We've typed in a Czech word and it gives us the English equivalent. Now, you know those doohickey characters? Okay, they're called diacriticals, letters with little thingies on them. Those are diacritical letters. They're not always easy to figure out how to type those in. So right here, you can turn on that keyboard and you can start typing those letters. Now the thing about this is it changes your actual physical keyboard. So you could either tap with the mouse or your finger, depending on what you're using, or you can type with the keyboard. Just remember that it's changed your physical keyboard and close it so you get your regular keyboard back. Yeah, one time my son left my computer in Japanese. That was really fun. I'm like, hey. My other favorite is the Google Translate mobile app. I love using this. Of course, you can go ahead and get that from the App Store or the Play Store. On the mobile app, I love the camera feature. This allows me to take a picture of something and translate it. So once you bring that up, go ahead and choose camera. Take a photo with your camera of the text that you would like to translate, and then you rub the text that you are looking for, and it gives you the translation. Isn't that great? That's fantastic. I love this. I actually use this a lot to read the directions on Japanese packages. I love Japanese food, and the packages, they're all in Japanese, and so I'll use this and it tells me how to cook it. It's great. Our time is just about up, but I would like to just give you a couple more resources that you might be interested in. This is simply more guidance and more assistance from natives. First of all, the FH Guide is a fantastic resource. It's a great resource for learning family history. What I would like to show you is the countries. If you go in choose countries. I don't know, let's look at India. They have lessons that teach you how to research in that country. Isn't that great? We've got, I don't know, eight lessons on researching India. Woohoo, I love this. It's fantastic. Another great resource is MyHeritage Trees. Go ahead and upload the line that you are looking at with ancestors in another country and see what happens. The great thing about ancestry trees is that you can use it to meet cousins. I mean, just think about this. You might have a cousin who stayed in the country where your ancestor came from, and they're your cousin, and they speak the language, and they live there, and they're doing family history research. Don't you want to meet them? Yes. And I've actually met cousins doing this. It is so cool. It is fantastic. They also give you record matches, which is great. They can help you with your research. This is a great tool that I recommend people use, especially for European lines. So, with all this great information, with online records, with free tools, with expert help, there is absolutely nothing stopping you from researching in another country. So all I have to say is, bon voyage! Have a great time researching in your country, because I know you can do this.